Hello everyone. Welcome to the lecture for the course Refrigeration and Air Conditioning. Today we will continue with History of Refrigeration. Myself Sumit Bardia, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Yatra. Today's lecture objectives are defining refrigeration and air conditioning, introduce aspects of various natural refrigeration systems, introduce aspects of various artificial refrigeration systems. Today we will cover the following points, that is introduction, natural refrigeration in that nocturnal cooling, evaporative cooling, cooling by salt solutions. Second category, that is artificial refrigeration in that vapor compression refrigeration system, air conditioning system and vapor absorption system. Introduction. Refrigeration may be defined as the process of achieving and maintaining a temperature below that of the surroundings. The aim being to cool some product or space to the required temperature. One of the most important applications of refrigeration has been the preservation of perishable food products by storing them at low temperatures. Refrigeration systems are also used extensively for providing thermal comfort to human beings by means of air conditioning. Air conditioning refers to the treatment of air so as to simultaneously control its temperature, moisture content, cleanliness, odor and circulation as required by occupants, a process or products in the space. The subject of refrigeration and air conditioning has evolved out of human need for food and comfort, and its history dates back to the centuries. The history of refrigeration is very interesting since every aspect of it, the availability of refrigerants, the prime movers, and the developments in compressors and the method of refrigeration all are a part of it. For specific applications, efficiencies of both living and non-living beings depend to a great extent on the physical environment. The nature keeps conditions in the physical environment in the dynamic state ranging from one extreme to the other. Temperature, humidity, pressure and air motion are some of the important environment variables that at any location keep changing throughout the year. Adaptation to this many a times unpredictable variation is not possible, and thus working efficiently is not feasible either for the living beings or the non-living ones. Thus, for any specific purpose, control of the environment is essential. Refrigeration and air conditioning is the subject which deals with the techniques to control the environments of the living and the non-living subjects and thus provide them comforts to enable them to perform better and have longer lives. The meaning of refrigeration is the production of cold confinement relative to its surrounding. In this, temperature of the space under consideration is maintained at a temperature lower than the surrounding atmosphere. To achieve this, the mechanical device extracts heat from the space that has to be maintained at a lower temperature and rejects it to the surrounding atmosphere that is at relatively higher temperature. Since the volume of the space which has to be maintained at lower temperature is always much lower than the environment, the space under consideration experiences relatively higher change in temperature than the environment where it is rejected. The precise meaning of refrigeration is thus the following. Refrigeration is a process of removal of heat from the space that we all know, where it is unwanted and transferring the same to the surrounding environment, where it makes a little or no difference. To understand the above definition, let us consider first example for the daily life. Here it is shown in the figure. It is a well-known fact that the spoilage of food and many other items reduces at a lower temperature. At a lower temperature, molecular motion slows down and the growth of bacteria that causes food spoilage also retards. Thus, to preserve many types of perishable food products for a longer duration, we use refrigerators in our homes, canteens, hotels, etc. The temperature of the food products has to be maintained at a level below that of surrounding, that we all know about this thing. For this, we keep the food products in a refrigerator. The inside volume of the refrigerator where we store food products or any other items is much less than the volume of the room where the refrigerator is kept. The room in this case is the surrounding environment. Food products in the refrigerator initially were at the higher temperature than the desired temperature, meaning that it had some unwanted heat. If its heat is removed, its temperature will decrease. The refrigerator removes unwanted heat from the food products and throws away the heat to the room, the surrounding environment of the refrigerator. The amount of heat makes a big difference in temperature inside the refrigerator and almost little or no difference in the temperature of the room. Figure shows spoilage of food products in a refrigerator slows down. Temperature in a refrigerator space is lower than the room where the refrigerator is kept. A refrigerator throws away the heat from the food products to the room. As a second example, let us consider travel in a car in an Indian summer of Delhi or Kanpur. The outside temperature is very high. It is highly uncomfortable. For a comfortable drive, nowadays we have air-conditioned cars. You will come to know that refrigeration is an integral component of air conditioning. To have a comfortable drive in the car, the temperature inside the car has to be lowered from approximately 40 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. This means that the heat of the space inside of the car and its occupants has to be thrown outside. This is done by the refrigeration unit fitted in the car. The volume of the car is much less than that of the surroundings. With the rejected heat, there is an appreciable change in the temperature inside the car, but no change in the temperature of the surrounding. In many places and situations, environment temperature is lower than the temperature of the space that we desire. As an example, consider car driving in the winter of Delhi to Kanpur or Kanpur. Temperature outside is about 2 to 6 degrees Celsius. For a comfortable drive with light clothing, temperature inside the car has to be raised to 25 degrees Celsius. This means that heat has to be supplied or pumped inside the car and its temperature has to be increased. The machinery that performs this operation is known as heat pump. But in applications such as that of comfortable driving in a car that, depending upon the season, requires temperature to be lower or higher than the surrounding, heat has to be pumped to the car or rejected from the car. Since both the operations are performed by the same unit in the car, in a much broader sense, we can say that a refrigeration unit controls the temperature of the space. In the normal refrigeration system, this is done by reversing the operation. Figure shows journey in a car is comfortable if the temperature inside the car is maintained is about 25 degrees Celsius. To do so, in a summer, we need to reject heat from the car to the surrounding. Okay, so that will lower down the temperature up to 25 degrees Celsius. Let's go for the third example. In refrigeration, heat is pumped out from a lower temperature space to a higher temperature environment. We know from our experience in daily life that water flows from a higher level to a lower level and heat flows from a body at a higher temperature to a lower temperature. The reverse, that is flow of water from lower level to a higher level and flow of heat from body at a lower temperature to a higher temperature do not occur naturally. In practice, these are achieved at a cost of external work. We need an external device or power done on the water and the carrier of heat with the help of mechanical device. Whether the space under consideration has to be maintained at a temperature lower or higher than the surrounding environment to pump out or in a heat, external power is always required. In relation to heat pump, the figure is showing the power required to pump the water. The same is required for the heat from a lower temperature body to a higher temperature body. We need an external device or work to perform the same. Next point is about air conditioning. Lowering or raising the temperature does not provide comfort in general to the machines or its components and living beings in particular. In case of the machine components, along with the temperature, humidity also has to be controlled. For the comfort of human beings, along with these two important parameters, that is air motion and cleanliness, also play a vital role. Air conditioning is a broader aspect which looks into the simultaneous control of all mechanical parameters which are essential for the comfort of human beings or animals or for the proper performance of some industrial or scientific processes. The precise meaning of air conditioning can be given as the process of simultaneous control of parameters such as temperature, humidity, cleanliness and air motion. These four parameters are very much important in order to control the or go for a process of air conditioning. In some applications, even the control of air pressure falls under the purview of air conditioning. It is noted that refrigeration, that is control of temperature, is the most important aspect of air conditioning. So we have discussed about the refrigeration and air conditioning are both are related. Even when a space has to be heated, it can be done so by changing the direction of flow of refrigerant in the refrigeration system. That is, refrigeration can be used as heat pump. However, some section of the people treat refrigeration exclusively for the process that deals with the cooling of the space. They treat heating operation associated with the heat pump. So here figure shows the relationship between the refrigeration and air conditioning that will be clear your doubts about the air conditioning. The next slide is about the natural refrigeration. So there are three categories under natural, that is nocturnal cooling, evaporative cooling and cooling by salt solution. We will go one by one. In olden days, refrigeration was achieved by natural means such as the use of ice or by evaporative cooling. In earlier times, ice was either transported from colder regions, harvested in winter and stored in ice houses for summer use, made during night by cooling of water by radiation to stratosphere. In Europe, America and Iran, a number of ice houses were built to store ice. Materials like sawdust or wood shavings were used as insulating materials in these houses. Later on, cork was also an option used as an insulating material. Literature reveals that ice has always been available to anyone who could afford it. In India, the Mughal emperors were very fond of ice during the harsh summer in Delhi and Agra, and it appears that the ice used to be made by nocturnal cooling. In 1806, Frederick Tudor, he is also called as an ice king, began the trade in the ice by cutting it from the Hudson River and the ponds of Massachusetts and exporting it to various countries including India. In India, Tudor's ice was cheaper than the locally manufactured ice by nocturnal cooling. The ice trade in North America was a flourishing business. Ice was transported to southern states of America in train compartments insulated by 0.3 meter of cork insulation. Trading in ice was also popular in several other countries such as Great Britain, Russia, Canada, Norway and France. In these countries, ice was either transported from colder regions or harvested in winter and stored in ice houses for use in summer. The ice trade reached its peak in 1872 when America alone exported 225,000 tons of ice to various countries as far as China and Australia. However, with the advent of artificial refrigeration, the ice trade gradually declined. So nocturnal cooling is nothing but art of ice making. So art of ice making by nocturnal cooling was perfected in India. In this method, ice was made by keeping a thin layer of water in a shallow earthen tray and then exposing the tray to the night sky. Compacted hay of about 0.3 meter thickness was used as insulation. The water loses heat by the radiation to the stratosphere, which is at around minus 55 degrees Celsius, and by early morning hours the water in the trays freezes to ice. This method of ice production was very popular in India. The next category is evaporative cooling. As the name indicates, evaporative cooling is the process of reducing the temperature of the system by evaporation of water. Human beings perspire and dissipate their metabolic heat by evaporative cooling if the ambient temperature is more than the skin temperature. Animals such as the hippopotamus and buffalo themselves with mud for evaporative cooling. Coat themselves with the mud for evaporative cooling. Evaporative cooling has been used in India for centuries to obtain cold water in summer by storing the water in earthen pots. The water permeates through the pores of earthen vessel to its outer surface, where it evaporates to the surrounding, absorbing its latent heat in a part from the vessel, which cools the water. It is said that the Patliputra University, situated on the bank of river Ganges, used to introduce the evaporative cooled air from the river. Suitably located chimneys in the rooms augmented the upward flow of warm air, which was replaced by cool air. Evaporative cooling was placing wet straw mats on the windows is also very common in India. The straw mat made from khus adds its inherent perfume also to the air. Nowadays we all know that the desert coolers are being used in hot and dry areas to provide cooling in summer. So this is the this type is evaporative cooling. The next category is cooling by salt solutions. Certain substances such as common salt, when added to water, dissolve in water and absorb heat of solution from the water. It is called an endothermic process. This reduces the temperature of solution. Sodium chloride salt NaCl can yield a temperature up to minus 20 degrees Celsius and calcium chloride up to minus 50 degrees Celsius in properly insulated containers. However, as it is, this process has limited application as the dissolved salt has to be recovered from its solution by heating. Then the next category is about artificial refrigeration. So previously we have seen the natural refrigeration by these three methods: nocturnal, evaporative and cooling by salt solution. These are categories under natural refrigeration. And artificial, after some advent of the technologies and something, then we will heading towards the artificial refrigeration. So artificial refrigeration, as it known these days, is produced by artificial means. Though it is very difficult to make a clear understanding between the natural and artificial refrigeration, it is generally agreed that the history of refrigeration, artificial refrigeration, began in the year 1755 when the Scottish professor William Cullen made the first refrigerating machine which could produce a small quantity of ice in the laboratory. Based on the working principle, the refrigeration system can be classified as vapor compression refrigeration system, vapor absorption refrigeration system, etc. In that, the first one is about vapor compression refrigeration system. The basis of modern refrigeration is the ability of liquids to absorb enormous quantities of heat as they boil and evaporate. Professor William Cullen of the University of Edinburgh demonstrated this in 1755 by placing some water in thermal contact with ether under a receiver of the vacuum pump. The evaporation rate of ether increased due to the vacuum pump and water could be frozen. This process involves two thermodynamic concepts, the vapor pressure and the latent heat. A liquid is in thermal equilibrium with its own vapor at a pressure called the saturation pressure, which depends on the temperature alone. If the pressure is increased, for example in a pressure cooker, the water boils at higher temperature. The second concept is that the evaporation of liquid requires latent heat during evaporation. If latent heat is extracted from the liquid gets cooled. The temperature of ether will remain constant as long as the vacuum pump maintains a pressure equal to the saturation pressure at the desired temperature. This requires the removal of all the vapors formed due to evaporation. If the lower temperature is desired, then the lower saturation pressure will have to be maintained by the vacuum pump. The component of the modern day refrigeration system where cooling is produced by this method is called evaporator. John Hague made Perkins' design into working model with some modifications. This Perkins machine is shown in figure. The earliest vapor compression system used either sulfuric or methyl ether. The American engineer Alexander Twining received a British patent in 1850 for a vapor compression system used by ether, NH3 and CO2. The man responsible for making a practical vapor compression reference system was James Harrison, who took a patent in 1856 for a compression system using ether, alcohol or ammonia. Charles Taylor of France patented in 1864 a refrigerant system using dimethyl ether which has a normal boiling point of minus 23.6 degrees Celsius. Then the next category is air conditioning system. Refrigeration systems are also used for providing cooling and dehumidification in summer for personal comfort. The first air conditioning systems were used for industrial as well as comfort air conditioning. Eastman Kodak installed the first conditioning system in 1891 in Rochester, New York for the storage of photographic films. An air conditioning system was installed in a printing press in 1902 and in a telephone exchange in Hamburg in 1904. Many systems were installed in tobacco and textile factories around 1900. First domestic air conditioning system was installed in the house in Frankfurt in 1894. A private library in St. Louis, USA was air conditioned in 1895. And a casino was air conditioned in Monte Carlo in 1901. So efforts have also been made to air condition passenger rail coaches using ice. The widespread development of air conditioning is attributed to the American scientist and industrialist Willis Carrier. So Carrier is the company that is known with the Willis Carrier. Carrier studied the control of humidity in 1902 and designed a central air conditioning plant using air washer in 1904. Due to the pioneering efforts of Carrier and also due to simultaneous development of different components and control, air conditioning quickly became very popular, especially after 1923. At present, comfort air conditioning is widely used in residences, offices, commercial buildings, airports, hospitals, and in mobile applications such as rail coaches, automobiles, aircrafts, etc. Industrial air conditioning is largely responsible for the growth of modern electronic, pharmaceutical, chemical industries, etc. Most of the present day air conditioning systems use either a vapor compression reference system or vapor absorption reference system. The capacities vary from kilowatts to megawatts. So figure shows here about the vapor compression refrigeration system, a basic components of vapor compression reference system. It consists of evaporator, compressor, condenser, and expansion valve. The refrigeration effect is obtained in the cold region as heat is extracted by the vaporization of refrigerant in the evaporator. The refrigerant vapor from the evaporator is compressed in the compressor to a high pressure at which its saturation temperature is greater than the ambient or any other heatsink. Hence, when the high pressure, high temperature refrigerant flows through the condenser, condensation of vapor into liquid takes place by heat rejection to the heatsink. Here heatsink is surrounding. To complete the cycle, the high pressure liquid is made to flow towards the expansion valve. In the expansion valve, the pressure and temperature of liquid decreases. This low pressure and low temperature refrigerant vapor evaporates in the evaporator, taking heat from the cold region. It also observed that the system operates in a closed cycle. The system requires input in the form of mechanical work. It extracts heat from the cold space and rejects it to a high temperature sink. A refrigeration system can also be used as heat pump, in which the useful output is the high temperature heat rejected at the condenser. Alternatively, a refrigeration system can be used for providing cooling in summer and heating in winter. Such systems have been built and are available now. The third category under artificial refrigeration is vapor absorption system. John Leslie in 1810 kept H2SO4 and water in two separate jars connected together. H2SO4, we know all that it is very highly affinity for water. It absorbs water vapor, and this becomes the principle of removing the evaporated water vapor, requiring no compressor or pump. H2SO4 is an absorbent in the system that has to be recycled by heating to get rid of the absorbed water vapor for continuous operation. Windhausen in 1878 used this principle for absorption refrigeration system, which worked on H2SO4. Later, Ferdinand Carey invented aqua ammonia absorption system in 1860. Water is a strong absorbent of NH3. If NH3 is kept in a vessel that is exposed to another vessel containing water, a strong absorption potential of water will cause evaporation of NH3, requiring no compressor to drive the vapors. A liquid pump is used to increase the pressure of strong solution. The strong solution is then heated in a generator and passed through a rectification column to separate out the water from the ammonia. The ammonia vapor is then condensed and recycled. The pump power, here the pump power is negligible, hence the system runs virtually on low grade energy used for heating the strong solution to separate the water from the ammonia. These systems were initially run on steam. Later on, oil and natural gas based systems were introduced. Here figure shows the essential components of vapor absorption system. In 1922, Balzer Platten and Karl Munters two students at the Royal Institute of Technology, Stockholm, invented a three-fluid system that did not require a pump. Heating-based bubble pump was used for circulation of strong and weak solution, and hydrogen was used as a non-condensable gas to reduce the partial pressure of NH3 in the evaporator. Geppert in 1899 gave this original idea, but he was not successful since he was using air as a non-condensable gas. The Platon-Mantas refrigeration systems are still widely used in certain applications such as hotel rooms, etc. So here this figure shows the triple fluid vapor absorption refrigeration system. So that is about the artificial refrigeration system. We have seen the three categories, that is vapor compression refrigeration system, air conditioning system, and vapor absorption system. Okay, so today we will stop here and we will continue the lecture on refrigeration and air conditioning, the next lecture. Thank you so much.